the new Superman movie is coming out this week. And I was actually kind of excited to see it. I thought to myself, you know what? This is going to be a entertaining movie. I tend to like superhero movies. I thought the Superman would be good. I think, the original Superman came out in like 78, if I'm not mistaken, the first Superman. I know the Batman with Jack Nicholson, I believe, came out in 89, which were kind of the universe of all of those shows came out in that space. James Gunn, who is the director, said, according to Variety magazine, Superman is about, quote, an immigrant that came from other places and how we've lost the value of basic human kindness. Yes, it's about politics. Again, Superman about an immigrant that came from other places, and he says that we've lost the value of basic human kindness. Yes, it's about politics. Why? If James Gunn had said, yes, Superman is about politics, we have got, in my opinion, the most super president of my life, and basically Superman is an allegory for what I believe is the job that is being done by the president of the United States. I'm super MAGA, and that's why I made a super MAGA version of Superman in honor of Donald Trump. I would say you're a moron. Not because I happen to disagree with that take necessarily, but just because if I was given hundreds of millions of dollars to make a superhero movie about a Superman, I would want everyone to go see my movie. And I wouldn't want to say that it was political in any way. I would want to say, hey, I think this movie is going to appeal to Democrats, Republicans, and independents. It's about uniting us in common humanity and a quest for super heroic achievement of humanity, which is, I think, something that we all aspire to be, supermen or superwomen in our chosen pursuits of life and in our chosen pursuits of fatherhood, motherhood, brotherhood, sisterhood. Everybody, to me, is trying to be Superman, and that is why it is a universal story that connects with so many people across the political spectrum: white, black, Asian, Hispanic, gay, straight. We all aspire to have a Superman inside of us. That's me right off the cuff with no preparation for questions that I'm going to be asked. And that's a movie that every one of you would want to go see. Why can't he answer that question? This, to me, ties in with Rachel Dolezal. When a studio gives you hundreds of millions of dollars to make a movie or millions of dollars to star in a movie, to me, the absolute least you can do is work your ass off and try to appeal to the largest possible audience so that the movie can have the biggest possible reach and impact and profit. And I want to do that not only for myself, if I'm an actor, but for the guy holding up the camera, for the script writer, for the makeup artist. I've done enough television to know that television requires an army. There's a huge collection of people that are involved in trying to put on a television program. I've been in one movie, Lady Ballers with the Daily Wire. I was blown away by the number of people that were required in order to make that movie. That's the only... Now, look, I worked on the Fox lot a lot, so I have been involved in seeing a lot of different movies and television shows be made. I've done a lot of television over the years. I'm telling you, I want to work as hard as I can on those shows because I think my job is actually the easiest. I really do. Especially like if you're a guest, you sit down, you talk into the camera. I don't have to worry about the tech. I don't have to worry about whether the guests are going to show up, all these different things. I just have to talk into a microphone. I want that to be as successful as possible because I want us to employ as many people as I can, and because I want the investment that the studio put into me to be as successful as it possibly can. Because ultimately, why are you trying to make a movie like Superman unless you aspire to have the biggest possible audience for it? You are reaching for a super audience when you try to make a movie like Superman. So I wouldn't say, hey, this is an allegory for Trump, who I think is Superman. And I wouldn't say, hey, this is about my views on immigration. It's extremely political. And if you disagree, you're a moron. I wouldn't say that if I were making that movie. Now, that's not my business. I sit down, I tell you exactly what I think. People watch or they don't watch. They listen or they don't listen. That's how the marketplace works. Over the last 20 years, a lot of people have watched, a lot of people have listened. And that's why I'm here talking to you every single day. And I would take a different measure of advice in the meantime. All right, if I were talking about Superman, I'm not going to go see it now. I don't know, what does the ticket cost now? $20 on IMAX? Maybe more now, frankly. I'm not going to go watch it. I would have gone and watched it if I hadn't seen that quote. Maybe there's not very many people like me. But I definitely know there's not people who are going to go watch it now because he said it's super political and it has to do with immigration. He hasn't gained any audience at all, and I think he's probably lost some. And that's bad business if your job is to try to appeal to everyone across the whole spectrum of the political universe, which is what I would think a movie about Superman would be trying to do. This thing has gone everywhere. And again, I knew it was kind of like ricocheting, I guess, all through the Superman superhero nerd community when I got a reach out from Japan and did a 30-minute interview with a major Japanese newscast. But I don't really pay attention to a lot of noise at this point because one thing that I have learned is in the Trump era, there's always so much noise. Unless I'm going in to try to get a laugh and I know people are going to be funny, then I don't really dive into the comments that much. That doesn't mean that I don't encourage you guys comment, react, do whatever you want to whatever I say or what anybody says. It just means there's so much noise it's hard to be on top of. But I went into Instagram earlier today during the Clay and Buck show because I was sharing one of our OutKick videos. And by the way, I'm Clay Travis on Instagram. And occasionally I will post a photo, but we post a lot of videos on Instagram. And you can find me there. And like I said, sometimes on my story, I'll share a picture of somewhere that I am, or I'll share a picture of a family. I don't really share that many photos on Twitter that much because Twitter is kind of like an opinion place to me, not as much of a photo place. So I'll go on sometimes on Instagram and give you a little sense of behind the scenes where I am. And then we share a lot of these videos that you might see on YouTube or you might see on TikTok or Twitter or whatever else. And sometimes those videos will go mega viral on one platform and not another, and they get watched more or less. I mean, anyway, there's just a constant feed of OutKick stories. So I went in and I saw that I had a ton of messages. I was like, this is interesting. Like, why do I suddenly have dozens of messages from strangers that have poured into my Instagram account? And I guess this thing has gone viral on Instagram as well. And I think it's easier to send messages maybe on Instagram. I don't know. I don't know how DMs work. I only DM people that I know. I don't think I've ever reached out to a stranger. But here are some fun. So we have these that people can see. These were representative samples of the angry messages that I was getting from people who were upset at my opinion on Superman. This is real. Ja Crispy said, and I'm going to curse and I'm going to say words that are inappropriate, okay? So just prepare yourself. Hey, fag, I just want to let you know Superman has been an immigrant since he was created, and that calling shit woke means you can't find a good reason to complain, so you're just being a bitch about it. All right, that's Ja Crispy. Andrzej Teleski says, you piece of shit. Go kill yourself. James Gunn is not the moron you are. Your family will burn for this. Hold on, leave that one up for a sec. My family's going to burn because of my opinion that Superman shouldn't be political? Seems a little excessive. I'm just going to toss that out there. I don't know that my kids deserve to be killed because Dad said, hey, kind of wish that Superman was not political so everybody could enjoy it. Maybe a little bit of a reaction. Your family will burn for this. And then this is always my favorite. You can say anything. if you're going to call somebody an idiot or a moron, just make sure that you use the right you're. You're an idiot, LMAO, except it's the wrong you're. That's from Jadizzi. And those are representative samples of angry people on about my Superman take. Now, this is going to be maybe the nerdiest thing that has ever happened in the history of this show. So nerds, get pumped, get excited. My wife, Laura, who is a Vanderbilt Law grad, just like I am, also a former Tennessee Titans cheerleader, the rare top law school and NFL cheerleader combo. Yes, I did outkick my coverage. And she just had a birthday, by the way. Happy birthday. We're going to her birthday dinner tonight. Big night in the Travis household. My wife said, this whole immigrant take, I'm paraphrasing her, this whole immigrant take is crazy because she said that Superman, first of all, would be a legal immigrant. And then she texted me this, so this is about to be the nerdiest thing that an NFL cheerleader has ever put onto the internet. My wife is also a big superhero fan. We go see all the superhero movies. She said, Superman, first of all, this is lawyer Laura, Superman is a true asylum seeker because his planet was exploding, all his culture and people were destroyed, and his first landing is on American soil in Kansas. So he is an asylum seeker because truly he cannot stay where he is because his world is being destroyed and no longer exists, which would be the definition of asylum. Point 2, she says, he is orphaned as his parents die, so he is legally adopted by the Kents, who are American citizens, thus giving him American citizenship. Even if not for 1 and 2, she argues, the unique talents of Superman are of great use to the United States, and they are impossible to find after a thorough search for other candidates, thus qualifying him for EB-1A visa and legal channel citizenship, which would be fully granted. Finally, on top of all this, he ends up being one of the most productive and useful members of society, choosing to hold 2 full-time jobs as both journalist and crime-fighting superhero. So, Superman would actually be a great example, according to my brilliant NFL cheerleader, lawyer, superhero wife fan. He's actually a legal immigrant. So that is Laura Travis's super nerdy argument for why Superman, if you want to make it political, is actually a legal immigrant and should be one held up to high esteem throughout the entire land. My argument, that's very funny, well done by Laura. My argument is just really simple. If you're trying to make a movie that appeals to everyone, don't make it political. Don't make it political. I would want to do and adopt the Tom Cruise rule. My Tom Cruise rule for movies would be this. Does it make it more likely that the movie is going to make money? If so, do it. Does it make it less likely that the movie is going to be making money? If so, don't do it. And my argument would be being political doesn't help. Now, some people are like, well, Clay, you share your political opinions. It's hypocritical. That's the voice of my critics. It's hypocritical of you to then go out and say that you don't think things should be political. My job is not to appeal to everyone in America. If I was going to only appeal to everyone in America with my opinions, I would be like, puppies are good. I wish no one died. I like ice cream. That would be the show, right? I would try to have, this is really funny idea. What is the most blandly inoffensive opinions that I could espouse every day on this program that would have almost universal appeal and would offend no one? It would be like, hey, I like puppies. I wish everyone who is fat was able to lose weight. Is that offensive? I don't know. I'm trying to think of the least offensive opinions I could have. I wish everyone were rich. I wish that everyone was nice and no one ever cried. I wish that no one's grandma ever died. I wish that no one ever got a skin knee. I hope that no one ever breaks a bone. I hope that no one ever gets an ingrown toenail. I hope that no one ever in the history of mankind gets cancer, because cancer is bad. I hope that we all achieve immortality and become super wealthy. And those are my opinions. That's not my job. My job is to tell you exactly what I think, and sometimes people get mad. And sometimes people say you're a genius, and sometimes people say you're a moron. If my job were to make a movie and I were given hundreds of millions of dollars to make it, I would follow what I just laid out as the Tom Cruise rule or the Michael Jordan rule, which is Republicans buy sneakers too. And I would do my darndest to make sure that I made a movie that, whether you were an 8-year-old immigrant or a 85-year-old veteran of fighting in foreign wars, whether you are gay, straight, black, white, Asian, Hispanic, I want everybody to love Superman or whatever movie I was making. I wouldn't give you political opinions because it wouldn't be my job. If I played Superman in a movie, by the way, fat Superman, kind of like fat Spider-Man back in the day, that would be me, I wouldn't start off the movie by saying, hey, here's what I think about trans athletes. Here's what I think about immigration. Here's what I think the tax rate should be. I wouldn't start that off because you came to see Superman, which is an escape from the real world. This has been my argument for a long time about sports. If I owned a sports team, I would not be particularly partisan or political because I would want everybody to come to my games. If I were an athlete, I would try to speak through my excellence as an athlete during my career and probably not be that outspoken politically, just because I would want everybody to appreciate my overall skill as an athlete, not my partisan political posturings. So these are very different things. I am in the opinion business. I tell you exactly what I think. If I were in the make a movie that everybody's going to love, oh, Adam just gave me a good one. Oxygen is good. Oxygen is good. I hope all of you can breathe freely, comfortably. Yes. What is the most inoffensive opinion that I could have? Oxygen is good could actually get controversial because people would be like, yeah, so why do you not believe in climate change? Because that immediately would shift, right? Oxygen's good. Yeah, well, we should have more oxygen and more trees, and unfortunately, everything is getting torn down because you don't believe that the planet is being destroyed. Anyway, so that is my take on the Superman controversy. I don't know. People may be trying to cancel me in Japan by midnight. I don't know when my Japanese Superman interview is going up, but just keep your fingers crossed. That's going to be a hell of a watch.